How's it going, everybody? This is Rob of Novakast, back with another video. For this one, we will be responding to the 2020 Brahms The Boy 2. Now, for those who would want to know, this is the sequel to The Boy from 2016. The basic premise for that film was a caretaker shows up in an estate to watch over the house as well as the doll that is supposed to be the representation of the son of the people who own the house. As pretty much the caretaker goes through her day-to-day, things start getting weird, and she starts to question, is the doll possessed? Who knows, but in a sense, that's the basic premise for the first one. The premise for this one is it's a follow-up. New family shows up at a house next to the estate. Boy finds doll, and instead of it being, somebody, kind of wondering who, if it's real or not, if it's paranormal, they go straight into, it's paranormal, which screws with the continuity of the first movie, but we'll get to that in a second. The movie was directed by William Brent Bell and written by Stacy Menier, if I pronounce that correctly. You have actors like Katie Holmes, Christopher Convery, Owain Yeaman, if I pronounce that correctly, Ralph Ineson, Daphne Huskins, Keone Ribeiro, I know I'm fucking up these names, Joel Collins, Oliver Rice, and so on. So, like I said, this movie just really screws with the continuity of the first film. Going into the fact that, it makes you wonder whether or not, the first one makes you wonder whether or not the doll was possessed. They just flat out say, nope, the doll was possessed the entire time. And even though we said that the doll showed up after the supposed death of the son, apparently that's not the case either. The doll has always been around. This movie is confusing to me, especially with it messing with the whole continuity of the doll, breaking its own rules, so to speak. And it was kind of dumb. And if anything, I kind of feel like that with this film, they were just kind of struggling to to try to make a sequel. At least that's the way I see it. Especially with the fact that it's where the setting is basically right next to the house, and involving the story, they really tried to shoehorn or play the whole, the doll has always been around, the doll has been possessing people, this and that. And I'm just like, I kind of don't care. This movie just already screwed it up for me. And like I said before, and just so you guys know, this is just me giving my opinions about the film. But I felt like that there shouldn't have been a sequel. I feel like, if anything, it should have just ended at the first one. There was no way, at least in my eyes, there was no way that they could have set up a sequel. But they did, and it was kind of done poorly. Now, there was one point where I was starting to think that maybe when it comes to them trying to play it off as the doll being possessed, I started to think that maybe it was Brahms, the son, that was possessing the doll. But we find out at some point that wasn't really the case, that it's something else. And good lord, is this movie bad. It, like, every time you try to ask a question and hopefully wait for an answer, 3 to 4 more questions start popping up with this film. So, bottom line, and if I were to, by the way, if I were to go to the characters too, Katie Holmes, all right. With her character, she is apparently suffering through PTSD from a burglary that happens in the beginning of the movie. You find that out, or you see that right off the bat. And the moments where she's trying to get through it is really cool. You feel sorry for her. Chris Convery as Jude is a very creepy kid when he needs to be, and I will say that was all right. All in all, those two were probably my favorites out of the film when it comes to characters. We have the creepy caretaker. We have, at some point, the cousin who's kind of a creep, who gets his comeuppance. And I will say, with this movie, I only saw a bit of the trailers, not a lot of them. And after a while, as you're watching the movie, I will say that the movie does start getting kind of predictable too. When it comes to certain scenes, I don't want to go too much into it, but it's just a mess. It really is. So, do I recommend it? I think that's the biggest question, though. Out of all this, is it a recommendation? Yes and no. Because I feel like they're trying to rewrite the first movie. Done poorly. So I would say no for that. But to some extent, I will admit that when it gets creepy, it does get creepy. Not that much, but it does. There is a bit that confused me a little bit near the end when it comes to Brahms. And for those who watched that movie, you guys will probably know what I'm talking about. Especially since just quick spoiler, they smash up Brahms and something happens, but I'm not going to go into what happens. And it kind of confused me because they've already done it with the first film. So anyway, I'm half and half on this. If you watch it, let me know in the comments what you guys thought. Other than that, I don't recommend it. At least for myself, anyway. I'm not gonna, watch it again. So, all in all, that's my thoughts on this film. Hello, everyone. Thank you for stopping by to check out this video. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. As well as follow us on social media. Links are in the description. Check out gaming content from MJ, Aden, and Magi, as well as our daily content on the YouTube channel. Follow us on our podcast, which is 6 p.m. Pacific time on Sundays. From everybody of Novakast, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video.